Okay. Oh, there we go. Okay, great. I think I'm all set. Alrighty. So I'll just wait a few seconds, see if people join on here. So welcome to Community Breathing Intention Release. This is a community class, free community class, 45 minutes. My name is Michele Moritz, and today, so I've been working on, usually I work on just very basic introductory style of opening up the body and using breath and working through the warm-up series of Yoga Nirvana class. So I've been focusing on the dancer series so far this summer, and I'm going to continue that today. So I'm doing more of a fluid, continuous warm-up, but also I'm going to pay attention to the breath a little bit more today. So if you've been following along, the moves won't be different, just maybe, and Belle's out of here. So Belle will not be joining us today. She does not like that. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to start seated on the floor. You can absolutely sort of monitor this sitting in a chair. That would be fine, especially if you have a little bit more experience with this. You could probably figure it out a little bit better. So we're going to get seated on the floor. You can raise yourself up by sitting on a mat. But we're just going to take a nice comfortable position with crossing the feet, or you can take a nice little sort of diamond shape here, just nice and relaxed, and probably a longer diamond shape with your legs. Whatever helps you feel more comfortable in your hips and your lower back and your tail. So we're going to rest the palms, draping over our legs here, finding a sense of plumb line. So something that I do, especially with young dancers, to find our center plumb line. We're just going to rest the palms on top of the head, just not pushing down. You just want to feel your hands drop into the top of your head, and we're just going to breathe through the plumb line of our body. We want to feel gravity travel from the crown all the way down through the tail in a very organic sensation. So we're traveling, we're letting the bones balance with gravity by releasing and dropping down into the floor. You can close your eyes. We're looking for a sense of that release from the lower back all the way down through the tail end of the spine, feeling a sense of elongation energetically that travels through the floor. We're finding a sense of awareness into our sitting bones, which are on the sides, the outsides of the tail, right? So on either side of the tail, I kind of think of this like a little teepee. So we have the tail, which is our balancing stick in the center, and then we have our sits bones like a teepee. And of course, our sacrum comes up through that teepee in my mind. So, but it moves and it shifts and it breathes. And so we're trying to find that sensation here as we're dropping down, feeling that sense of balance from the crown through the tail into the floor. You also might feel that your jaw and chin relax in and back and adjust a little bit. And just take a nice deep breath into, once you find it, take a nice deep breath. And exhale, feel the energy of that plumb line getting deeper and more relaxed and more apparent. And then we're just going to release the palms up and around. We feel that lightness through the crown of the head as we let go. Take the palms together. Now use your breath to bring your breath up into your hands. So we're going to glide our hands forward and back. We're creating heat and friction in between the palms. Very relaxed in the fingers here, letting the fingers glide in between one another. And feel that the breath internally inside your body comes up into the surface of your palms as you're gliding. So now from here, we're going to separate the hands. We feel a nice sense of energy, little vibration in between the palms. Now, instead of feeling that we're yawning open, we're going to take this a little bit further. We're going to let that energy spread out and beyond us into the space. And now to feel this internal yawning, we're going to move and swirl the energy all around you in the room. So you want to feel that you're really moving and spreading and releasing, like you're sort of painting using, it can be color, you can use your imagination here, but you're really spreading all of this sense of expansion all the way out around you, feeling that up above you, down below through the floor, around the sides, behind your body, but feel that you're breathing as you're spreading it. You're breathing and moving all around the space, and you're going in any direction, whatever feels good. But try to bring your energy outward a little bit more. Try not to be as introspective as we usually are with this, really moving and spreading around. And then we're going to reach out through the palms. We're gathering energy from the space around. We're just going to sense that over the eyes and face and wash over the face around the eyes, breathing into it, letting your breath release and soften and calm through the face. We're going to take our fingertips into the brow bone, taking a nice exhale. We're carving up and around and into the hairline a little bit. So we're tracing along the brows from the inside to the outside with a nice little lift up. Use your breath to exhale and relax your face. Feel that your face softens and calms as you're massaging and opening from the center out. Then we're going to go underneath the eyes using your index fingers along the bone again. We're sweeping along under the orbital bone with that nice little lifting up. If you really trace along the bone line, there is a lift up into the sides, into the hairline. And then breathing, you're going to take a nice exhale. And then we'll take our fingertips into the forehead, just a nice scrubbing up and down. Exhale, releasing, moving the lymph under the skin around a little bit, very lightly. And then we'll come around to the outside of the eyes, the temples, very lightly moving the skin here. Do not press in. And then we're going to travel down between the upper and lower jaw and feel that your fingertips have breath in them. So they're sort of releasing and expanding. And you can move around a little bit more here, and you can use more pressure here. So usually there's a little bit more tension and tightness, and we can really sort of dig in there. And now from here, let's take the fingertips up above the ears into the scalp. So it's like you're shampooing your hair. You're going to scrub and lift up. And then feel that we're releasing around the edges of the ears. We're tracing the perimeters of the ears into the scalp. We're going to go around towards the back, and then eventually making our way all the way to the back of the head, where the neck and the head meet, into that little groove, the occipital joint here. So we're massaging into that nice little groove. And again, feel the breath travel through the fingertips here. And then we're going to go down the back of the neck, breathing and massaging, getting a nice circular massage going here, releasing into the muscles around the sides of the spine. And then once we come down to the bottom of the neck, the top of the shoulders, we're going to use our fingertips to really dig over top and take a nice long exhale, sweeping over and sweeping the hands off, shaking them out a little bit. So we're going to go back again, using the breath. We're going to exhale, and we release and shake it off. And again, going back, relaxing the shoulders, using the breath. Exhale, and shaking off any tension or tightness. Now we find the breath internally lifting us up. We're going to interlace the fingers. Feel the breath come from the base of the spine and pelvis. We're going to inhale, finding that strong, bright center line, lifting us up. So we feel right through the midline of the body You can, again, I always talk about this being a color with the students I work with. So maybe your midline has a color. You want to make it more vibrant and bright and sort of radiant, right? So our breath gives the midline some radiance. We're going to lift up off of the seat, wiggling up out of the tail, getting some nice release through the tail end of the spine, through the pelvis and the hips a little bit. And then we're coming back through center. Now we relax the tail under, let the arms drape down. We're finding that nice sweeping motion. We're going to sweep around to the right, make a nice lifting opening space, a window with your elbow up. And then we're going to exhale over, breathe through the side ribs, around and forward. Finding your long tail reaching down to come up. And exhale, around and forward. Long tail, inhale, in between the ribs and up. Exhale, over, around and forward. Inhale, side and up. Taking a new breath and pause. Change, exhale, around and forward. Inhale through the side and up. Exhale, over, around and forward. Inhale, finding your long tail. Breathe in between the ribs. Exhale, over, around and forward. Inhale through the side ribs and up. Now we find that really bright center midline right through the center of the body, lifting us up. We're going to let that breath inside lift us up as tall as we can get, lifting up maybe off the floor almost a little bit. And then we're going to release the arms, circle the wrists, breathing through the palms. Keep that internal lift, breathing and lengthening as you circle and open through the palms, feeling your fingertips breathe open like little tentacles here. And then just hang the arms down into a nice V, sort of draping off the length of the spine. Breathe into that and then soften your tail to let that go. Now we're going to take one foot out in front at a time. We're starting to yawn through one side of the body, then the other side of the body. We're always relating the breath from our center midline and then letting that come out, whether our movement is really big to go out or pulling in from the outside. We're always relating into that embryonic midline. So we want to feel the breath through the center. The right foot is flexed forward, and this other foot is just sort of hanging off to the side with the knee bent. On the chair, I think you could just sort of, bring your other hand, your opposite hand behind, right foot, right palm up. Now the yawning part comes from the midline. So we're going to inhale through the midline, which gives us a nice little extension arch over the tail. This is where your back palm gives a little push to yawn through one whole side of your body, through your limbs, through your spine, through the chest, through the eyes, and then relax and change. Feel the breath come from your center, breathing through and up, and then so you have that nice support internally, and relax and change. So it's like you're really waking up your body, and it's a little bit deeper, so use your breath to deepen the stretch. So the breath really penetrates through the tissues and release. And again, finding your breath to expand. So if you're constantly connecting from your breath, not only will you probably find, I don't know if you'll be able to notice this on yourself, but aesthetically, it brings a connection to someone else, right? If you're watching this on the stage, you feel connected to that person that's doing it that way. But also, you're going to feel that you can become more aware and hopefully not injure yourself because you know where you're going because you can feel it, and then you just need out of it. So you're not going to push yourself beyond where you don't feel right. You're just breathing through and letting go. Your breath supports you and carries the stretch and release. Now from here, we're going to take both arms up and we're breathing through the wrists and the ankles, circling, breathing and opening. Feel the fingertips and toes like little tentacles. We're making our way all the way down to the floor. And then eventually just letting go, relaxing the legs. You can bring your feet a little bit further apart. Relax through the head, feel the weight of your head, and just drop over, exhale. Now, if it's just your head, that's fine. So don't push yourself into going over. So we're just going to breathe out. As you breathe out, try to breathe out through the nose. You can breathe out through the mouth if you have to, but we're just dropping the head a little bit as we exhale. So we're going to breathe out and breathe out and out and out. Release, 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 and relax. So now we're going to exhale, sway the head from side to side. So use the weight. You're finding again the weight of your head, taking nice natural exhales. This doesn't have to be out through the nose. We're just breathing out and sway. You're going to feel that there's a breath of expansion through the back of your body, hopefully through the back of the ribs, hopefully the lower back ribs. And we're getting that nice shifting in the sits bones here. We're like a nice old elephant just walking and dropping down. We're just breathing through the bones a little bit more here, shifting from side to side. And then we're going to use the breath through the low abdomen to lift one hip up and walk backwards on the floor. So we're lifting up and walking back along the floor, relaxing over so that we're kind of breathing into our sacrum and dragging the legs along the floor. So there's no effort. We're just releasing and lengthening the legs from the hips. And then we're going to come forward. So now we're lifting the hip up. You can bend your knee a little bit. Use your sits bones like feet a little bit more here. So you're going to push down to lift the other side over. Push down to go over. Push down to go over. Down and over. And then we're just going to relax and hang through the head, releasing over. Let your breath go. Let your breath release, which means an exhale. As we inhale, feel your long, heavy tail drawing down through the floor. So now we have a long, heavy dinosaur tail. That tail's getting longer and longer, and it's really thick and really supportive, and it gets even stronger as we get up taller. So even longer down as we come up, and then you can feel how nice and open and released the upper body becomes with that heaviness and rooting down. And then we're finding that, and then we're just going to soften, relax out of that. So now from here, we go back to some body tapping and such. We're going to use our fists nice and loose, but we want to find a nice little tiny scoop through the low belly here to expose the muscles through the back body a little bit more. So now the breath is traveling through our hands again, going into the sacrum, right on the sacrum, just on your tailbone, breathing into this nice drumming, massaging all around the bones. We have cartilage in between the bones here, so we want to kind of get some flow in there. We want to get some movement going in there to wake things up and help some fluids get into our joints. Then we're going to come into the backs of the hips here, the glutes. So we're just drumming into the backs of the hips. You can move all around. Try and discover where you feel like you might. Sometimes we're holding on one side in one spot, and you just kind of need to move all around, really large muscles here. We're going to go up the sides of the spine, breathing into that towards your kidneys or lower back ribs, and then back down again. Now we're going to take our fists and just drop into the back sides of the hips, our greater trochanter area, and we're just kind of breathing, again, just letting go, trying to notice if there's anything holding on there, but also kind of waking things up inside, closer into the joint. And then we're going to go alternating from the back and side. So we're going from the back, from either side, flushing from one side to the other, and feeling that we're releasing tension and tightness from the back of the hip, sending it down and out through the feet, through the toes. And then from here, we're going to open the palms loose again. So our hands are open. We're going to use the heels of the hands. And now we take a fluffy motion along the outsides of the legs. So we're kind of scooping the muscles up and moving and shifting them around over on the bones, right? So we want to feel that nothing's really holding on. We're juicing it up a little bit, and we're giving kind of this scooping, releasing quality. You also want to feel that your breath is traveling through your palms, so you can maybe help yourself let go of any tension and tightness that might be persisting there. So these are really large muscles. We're working all the way down the sides of the legs until we're up over the knees. We're not on the knees, but we're right at the attachment points into the knees from our quads. We're just going to take our fists and do the tapping, fluffing motion. Go all around over top of the knees to the inside and the outside. Just go with the shape of your legs. We're just sort of letting things open up, connected into the knees. And then we'll go right on top of the knees using our fingertips and tapping. So we're tapping and dropping right into the kneecap, into the patella bone, and we feel a nice vibration. So we want there to be a nice vibration into the joint. This wakes up into the nerves, into the muscles. Even this can get some fluid moving into the joint for you. So there's that. So now we're going to travel down the shin bones. So we continue tapping and feeling that vibration, waking things up all the way down into the lower legs. Go all the way down to your ankles, breathing into it, tapping back up the shins again towards the knees. And then from here, we're going to lean back a little bit. Use the heels of your hands again and get a really good massage from the tops of the hips down into the knees. So we're covering the entire length of our quadriceps, flushing from the inside, maybe a little bit to the outside. So we're feeling that nice sense of lengthening and releasing here. Feeling that, and of course it's a little bit lumpy feeling because our muscles cross over and intertwine a little bit more, and they're large. So we want to just give a nice flush through. And then as we come down, we're going to go back down to the lower legs on the outside of the shins here using our fluffy hands. We're going to fluff up around the outsides of the shins into our peroneals. So just letting your hands bounce off of this outside leg. And just getting a sense of releasing any tension or tightness that could be bound up and holding us back between our knees and our ankles, right? So sometimes there's a lot of tib-fib misalignment, and maybe we can even just shake that out a little bit here. And then from here, we're going to very gently bring our feet back in. They don't have to touch together, but just in a comfortable position. We're not trying to stretch down to the floor. We're just getting in this position. Use the tops of your hands. You can round back a little bit. We're going to flesh on the inner thighs into our adductor line. So we want to go from the hips in a downward motion, releasing and letting everything just kind of let go from the inside of the hips, travel down that line towards your knees. So we're getting that nice release. You'll probably feel it a little bit more as you get closer to your knees. And then from here, we're just going to flex through the heels a little bit, just enough to slightly engage through our calves. Take a little fist with your hands and start with a light exhale, dropping down, feeling that your weight lets go into the calves. So we're getting a lateral shake in our calves by releasing our palms and dropping down. If you feel comfortable, we can take a bigger drop. So we're going to exhale and let go, breathing out. So I'm really dropping. I'm not trying to hit myself or anything like that. I'm just letting whatever comes through with gravity happen. But if you're sore in your calves, the bigger one might not feel as good. So just the little ones feel quite good if you're sore. So you can just determine whatever your body's feeling. And now we're going to go back to the smaller ones and go below the calves into the Achilles, breathing into that. And then just releasing out of that. Let's take the hands back behind us and bring the legs straight out on the floor. And we're just going to do a nice shaking out along the floor, feeling nice and long and released behind the knees. And let's just kind of wiggle the tail a little bit side to side. We're going to take the right knee up, inhale. We're going to exhale, give a little scoop through the low belly as you exhale. exhale and let the leg lengthen out and drop. We're going to take the other leg up and we exhale, release, and up, and using the breath to let go, and up, and exhale, and again up, and exhale, and up, and exhale. Now from here, relax your legs, just let them hang apart. Use the breath. It's like a nice winding, spiraling breath into the base of your abdomen here, into your dantian. So we're going to exhale, gather, 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 and we do a quick tap and let go. And again, using the breath. So it's a quick tap and let go. And again, the breath. Like a nice little explosion there. And again, find that connection. One more time. Be gentle on your bones though. And then just relax. So we're practicing not only being quick, but letting go after that. So now let's take the feet in. We're going to circle through the ankles and just breathe through the feet a little bit here. Moving the ankles around, getting some flow going all the way down into our feet. And then we're going to relax both feet on the floor. We're going to massage into that inside heel area. So there's a nice sort of curve that follows inside of the heel under the ankle bone. Lots of tendon ligament connections in there. We're going to kind of really dig and massage in there. We want to feel that this is nice and awake and loosened up. Just sort of aware here also. This is a huge area of weakness for a lot of us. We kind of fall in or roll into our ankles, whether we're, trying to not to. It's something that sort of gets ignored sometimes. So we're going to try to pick this energy up on the inside of the heel, ankles, and then we're continuing to go underneath our feet. So let's use maybe the thumbs and do a nice mushy massage into your arches. So focus on the area from your heels up into underneath the balls of your feet. So underneath your metatarsals here into the balls of the feet. We're just kind of mushing around and feeling that our feet relax, and we're breathing into that, letting your arches release a little bit. And then we're going to go underneath the balls of the feet and stretch our toes apart. So we want to feel nice big spaces, a little froggy foot toes, breathing open. Try to relax your feet as you breathe through the toes here. Gently releasing through the palms. So now we're going to bring our hands back behind. We're going to bend the knees, bring the feet together. So my hands, fingertips are facing away back there. I'm kind of relaxed back. The tail is slightly rounded under. There's a little scoop under in the tail. We want to feel, again, a really strong sense of that breath through the midline, through the center line. Feel that you're really gathering from underneath your sits bones, squeezing your legs together from the sits bones, but we're going to breathe through the midline and walk through the toes, heel, balls of the feet, toes. You're going to pick sand up through the toes and flick it away. So we're going to breathe. We want to feel that connection from our center all the way down and out through the feet. So we're really rolling through the feet and using the floor to melt into. So we don't want to feel that we're holding our arches. Let them breathe. Now, as we get too far away, reverse it. Toes go first. Melt your arches as you draw the heel back. Toes go up and over. Feel the arches breathe and melt as you come back. Up and over. And breathe and draw back. One more time, up and over. And breathe and back. Let's go forward one more time. A strong center midline breath. Exhale. And walk using your toes, picking up the sand, flicking it away. And walk. So you can also check out your toes. Make sure they have their own energy, right? So all of the toes are sort of reaching and opening, especially the pinky toes, breathing open. And then from here, we're just going to relax and shake the legs out of it. Let's come back with our whatever comfy folded position you prefer here, lifting up nice and tall. So now we're going to take a nice breath, massaging into the upper side ribs. Take a big inhale and feel that balloon effect, feeling that your chest cavity lifts up out of the pelvis. And exhale, release. Again, breath comes in. Feel that expansion through the top side ribs and exhale. We're going to come down into the front of the hips and just kind of breathe and massage into the lymph in the front of our hips here. And then coming up right into the center, of our chest. We're going to just take a nice little exhale, scrubbing up and down, massaging and just letting go of any tension that's holding on into the center. And then taking our sweeps down through the center and the front, from the ribs all the way down into the pelvis. We're going to take this around under one side, feeling the breath through our fingertips under the ribs, and coming through center over to the other side, breath underneath the ribs. And then coming back through center, we're going to relax the arms. Find that heaviness and wideness through the scapula, wide and feeling dropped. So the shoulder blades, right? So the shoulder blades, we always think of our shoulders just like as the top of the shoulders, but really the shoulder girdle is everything below that. So we want to feel that the scapula are very prominent in our alignment, wide and hanging down. We're going to take our opposite hand. You can rest your head the other way and just take a nice little massage, breathing into this release into the front of the shoulder and just kind of letting everything mush around and let go. You can slightly move your head around if that feels good. And then we're going to relax, coming up, hanging over the other way, and breathing, moving around into the other front shoulder. So you're really, again, getting into a lot of lymph here, and we're kind of flushing things through a little bit, helping our body sort of flush through that a little easier. And also you can really explore finding any tension or tightness that's holding on into and around the front of the shoulder. And then coming back through center, relaxing. We're going to take the opposite hand, just dropping the palm and exhale over the top of the shoulder. So we exhale and release. Breathing out, release. So this is not, you're not trying to hit yourself. You're trying to let your breath drop your palm and your breath releases your palm. So if this doesn't feel natural, and breath. Oh, I'm sorry, I have to just change something. Sorry about that. So we're going back into this. My phone notification battery thing went on. So we're going to breathe out and breathe out and breathe out. So your head is dropping over to the side, but you're not trying to drop it. So wherever it goes, it doesn't have to go far. We're just sort of getting it a little bit out of the way because we don't want to, we want more of our shoulder. We're getting some breath into our upper back, lungs and ribs, all the way up at the top above our shoulders. And then just relaxing here. Now we find that breath from the pelvis. Let the breath bring you up. So we're going to inhale. Feel the tail energy draw down as the breath comes up. Find that favorite color again. So that bright, vibrant color right through the midline lifts you up as you breathe, and it's radiant, expanding. Then we're going to let the arms go. And we feel that lengthening all the way through. Now, softening through the tail. Let's go again. Inhale. Feeling the breath lift us up and up and up and up and up. And we let the arms go. Softening the tail. And again, let the breath come in through the midline. Let your tail release all the way down and out. Finding that release tail energy as you lift internally up. And we let go. Now we're going to shake it all out. Finding that nice release. Think of a V coming down from the center of your body, out through the arms, and we're just kind of shaking things off the bone, just like we did with our legs and our back. feeling that your breath helps you let go. We want to find that nice release from the back, through the elbows, through the wrists, through the hands, especially the forearms and the wrists and the palms, and just sort of letting your head go as you need and getting that nice released fuzzy feeling all the way down into the hands. And then from here, we're going to interlace the fingers and just do a nice little compression release. Feel the breath between your palms as you squeeze and let go, just sort of kneading, like you have dough kneading between your palms a little bit. You can do a little bit of shearing forward and back, and then just relaxing together. Feel the shoulders nice and relaxed. We're going to breathe out and find a nice release, swirling around into this little figure 8 motion with our wrists. So we're going to exhale and just see what happens. It doesn't matter how fast you go, but you do want to find a really nice momentum to let go and release through. And then we're going to change and come back the other way. You might need to sort of recalibrate your release in the breath. It might not feel as natural in the opposite direction, but we're just going to breathe through that letting go, seeing where it takes us, and just relaxing that. So now we're going to take the hands apart and just breathe open and closed, feeling a nice inhale and exhale, squeezing and releasing. Now we're going to do our squeezing breath from our center, from the dantian here. So we're going to let the breath come in, which expands our body. So from here, we're going to let the breath open us out into the space and expand around and up. So we're nice and open. Now we're going to gather into our center, just like I was talking about earlier. We're going to exhale and condense. So we scoop and exhale, exhale, exhale. Fingertips, toes, eyes, we're compressing and bringing that in and in and in. But we're also using this to cleanse and make space for anything new. So we're pushing out the old and welcoming in the new, breathing out until you don't have any more breath left. As we let the breath in, feel that breath expand your body up and open. And we're going to exhale, squeezing through the fingertips, toes, the eyes, all the distal points, and we're compressing through the nerve lines using our breath and squeezing and scooping all the breath out through the center, cleansing, making space for anything new, getting rid of the old, letting the breath in. Feeling that expansion, lightness, openness through the joints. One more time, we're going to exhale, squeezing out anything negative, physical or emotional. You're just making space for new energy you want to manifest into yourself. Let the breath expand and open your body up. On this last one, we're going to exhale, but use your fingertips and toes to draw that new energy into your center using your breath. So you're drawing that in through the nerve lines into your center, enveloping that new energy. And we're just going to let the breath in, arms come up, and we just kind of flick away anything that was holding on left. So now we're going to come up into the top of the neck, into the head. Interlace your hands back there to hold the back of your head, resting your head into your hands, relaxing your jaw and chin a little bit. Again, let's find our tail energy. So we're going to breathe through the tail, feel that relationship between the head resting into your palms and your tail. So you want to let your tail start to draw long and heavy, sort of. Another dinosaur tail moment here. Feeling that tail give you a sense of release and breath in and up along the spine, all the way up through the crown of the head. Use that breath and release to sweep and open the palms up, around and down, feeling that energy from tail through the crown. Now we're going to let the energy come out through the eyes. So that's the neurological top of our spine, right? So now we're going to use the eyes to just exhale. Feel the breath come out through the eyes. You're going to scan the room very gently and slowly with your natural vision. You're just looking at everything around the room, looking all the way over to the side. You're going to look over all the way to one side, take a new breath. Feel that sense of centering length through the spine as you change to the other side. So we're using the eyes. It's like you're comfortably and slowly looking into a new space, a really interesting new space, and you're discovering all these wonderful details. So kind of like you would do if you're a child, right? Breathing and looking around here, and then finding that breath to scan around the other way, making sure that the strength internally through the center is present as we relate externally through the eyes out. And then again, finding the breath elongating through the spine, bringing that open and out through our vision, looking out maybe through the walls, and then using the breath, using that internal strength and length to come all the way back through center. Now we're going to take a deep breath in and pull the breath in and up from the base of the spine, and we're going to close the eyes and hold that breath a little bit. So try to relax your shoulders and not let them get too involved here. So just internally, we're going to inhale, pull the breath up. And exhale, gently open the eyes as you release. You can do a little blinking. We're going to take our hands and just take nice little sweeps around the eyes and face here. Releasing. And then little taps into the skull, all around the head, feeling that vibration, feeling the breath travel through the fingertips, sweeping up through the back of the head and the neck. And then we're coming around. If you feel comfortable, you can do a quicker spot. Take a nice exhale side to side, letting your jaw go, feeling that release through the top of the neck, and slowly come back into center to stop. Now from here, we're going to take each finger and we're taking a nice breath from our sternum opening out. We're going to let this open us into another movement. So we're going from each finger, wiggling through that stretch and release of the nerve line. Exhale, feel the breath from the chest or even feel the breath from your pelvis. We're going to breathe out and feel the arms open. Taking a new finger and wiggling it free. Exhale. So we're starting to wake up that sense of lift internally from the breath. And ironically, there's a drop feeling down through the bones maybe. Maybe your bones remain heavy. We want to find a sense of openness and lightness. And then changing to the other hand, wiggling it free. And again, relaxing the shoulders. And again, feeling that you can almost float up off of your seat. And again, new finger and breath. And again, breathing through to release. And just relaxing there. So now from here, let's come around onto our hands and knees. And we're just going to take some nice arching and curling, breathing in and up along the midline. So let's touch the heels, lengthen out through the feet. With your hands underneath your shoulder blades, make sure your shoulders aren't too drawn up. We're just going to gently draw the shoulder blades down. We're going to let the breath come in and up through the abdomen. Inhale, rounding our back up to the ceiling. You're going to let your head drop and look in towards the belly. Feel that your tail draws down towards the floor as you push your palms into the floor. Exhale, pointing through your toes if you can to deepen this. We're going to inhale, lift the belly through the midline. You're lifting and lengthening up. Your tail goes up, your eyes go up. We're going to look up, finding our tail. Lift your heels, tuck your toes under, and then try to see your tail as you draw back through the tail and bend your elbows. We're going to come forward, abdomen lifts you up to round the back, and exhale, push away, curl, looking in at your belly. Inhale, lifting through the abdomen to elongate your spine. So feeling that breath energy through the midline and looking for your tail, and a little bend in the elbows. Exhale, draw the tail back and come forward. Breath comes in and we exhale and curl. Breath, inhale, lifts us up. And look for your tail. Exhale. And breath comes in. And we curl. Exhale. Now from here, if you're comfortable, we're going to sit back on our heels, relaxing through the tail. We want to find that breath through the midline. Your heels are reaching to touch one another, even though it's not so easy to do that while you're seated on your heels. We're going to breathe through the midline, let the tail round under. Just take a nice breath, curling the tail under, then breathing through the midline up. So we have that lightness. We're almost off of our heels, looking up, extending through the spine, and just breathing the arms open. So we find that connection through the midline to open through the arms, like we do in port de bras and dance. We're going to curl under. The breath brings us in and up. And try to touch your heels. Exhale, opening out. And tail sweeps under. Breath comes in and up. Finding that opening in the chest, and exhale, releasing out. Now from here, we're going to interlace the fingers. Turn the palms forward. Keep your elbows wide. Take a nice curl under in the tail. Exhale. Try to pull your elbows wide to breathe wide into the back. We're going to keep curling the tail under so much that the tail pushes us all the way up onto the knees. So we want to feel the heels. We're going to point through the toes. Feel that your tail draws down through the floor as you reach up. We're reaching and reaching. We're going to separate the hands, and we're going to walk and reach and walk and reach. So it's like we're climbing up, playing with these big billowing scarves, blowing in the wind. So I have some wind in my room today. So it's nice inspiration to just breathe and reach and breathe and reach. When you think of your tail drawing down, think of the top of the sacrum, breathing down into the floor, out and along the floor. Your heels touching together and toes pointing are still relating into your tail. And then we're going to just breathe that long tail down through the center to reach up. We take a nice dive over the top, curling over. Bring your palms all the way back down to the floor. Inhale, breathing in and up to bring the chest through. Lifting the tail, lifting the heels, tucking the toes, and just take another exhale, trying to see your tail. We're going to come in and up with the breath to curl again. Rounding the tail under, looking in at your stomach, we're going to tuck the toes under, feel the breath, lift your tail back and up over your heels, and we're just going to find that nice breath through the tail, back and up. Your heels are floating off the floor a bit here. So we want to breathe through the high hamstrings, lifting our sits bones up, and you're pushing the floor away. And hopefully you don't have a little slip like I do. We're just going to breathe and shift back and up. You can do a little bounce of your heels as you breathe through the tail. And then finding that lift through the sits bones up. We're going to use that to walk the hands all the way back to the feet. So now our tail is plumb lined over the heels. And we're just sort of hanging over, releasing. You can shake the legs out. We're going to hold onto the elbows
And take a nice breath release through the upper back and the neck. Finding that drawing energy through the heels. And then feel the breath come in and up through the abdomen to lift to the ceiling. We're going to let go of the elbows. The breath through the abdomen lifts us up as the tail releases down. So I have this nice internal revolving through the spine as we roll up. And then once you're all the way up, just find that sense of gravity trickling down internally through your body. So now we have that sense of length, long through the tail, down and out, long through the front of the hips. We're going to relax through the shoulders and the arms, bending the knees. Just like we did kneeling, we're going to let the knees bend a little bit, only enough to articulate through the tail curling under. So we're going to curl the tail under. Again, we're going to inhale, breathe through and up. Now we find our heels and our feet pushing down. Feel the breath. Open the chest as you release out. Then the tail brings you around and under. Finding that energy drawing down through the legs to come up. And exhale, release. And tail. And inhale around and up. And exhale, release. And tail. Now we're finding the tail energy. We're just going to take a nice walk out, releasing and walking out along the space. I'm sorry, my phone. One device is on its last legs. Okay. Good. All right, so thank you very much, everyone. So yes, back on for Wednesday at 12 o'clock Eastern time. So if anybody has any special requests or questions, please let me know. Maybe next week, I just thought of a theme for next week, hips. We're going to go through a couple of different hip things. So of course, in the full class, this is a whole different thing, but I'm just doing little sort of introductory pieces because the full class is really like 2 hours. So anyway, thank you very much. Everybody have a wonderful week and day and enjoy enjoy what feels like a more relaxed version of summer. All right. Thank you.